Nokia's days of drifting through the asteroid belt felt like a never-ending grind, each one blending into the next. His ship, the Scavenger, was his solitary refuge amidst the endless expanse of rock and metal. For weeks, the only company he'd had were the occasional blips on his scanner, usually fake alarms or insignificant debris. Today, though, a different kind of signal was breaking through the static. The signal was weak but persistent, a tiny beacon in the vast emptiness. He squinted at the display, the faint hope of discovering something valuable flickering in his mind. Adjusting his ship's course, he maneuvered through the dense field of asteroids, each rock passing by in a slow, deliberate dance. As he drew closer, a sight he'd only heard of in hushed whispers and old tales came into view. There it was, a Terran resource harvester. The sight was both breathtaking and intimidating. The machine's massive spindly arms moved with a precision that seemed almost graceful, as if it were performing an intricate ballet against the backdrop of the void. Nokia marveled at its scale and complexity, feeling a shiver of awe mixed with trepidation. He knew the stories, how these machines worked with relentless efficiency, seemingly without regard for the passage of time or the presence of others. They were legendary for their single-minded dedication to their tasks, and crossing paths with one was not something to be taken lightly. Still, the opportunity was too tempting to ignore. Nokia's gut told him to be cautious. He powered down the Scavenger, turning off non-essential systems to minimize any chance of detection. The silence of space, broken only by the distant hum of the harvester, felt almost oppressive. Nokia, feeling a mix of anxiety and excitement, stood mesmerized. As he watched the harvester going about its work, he couldn't help but wonder about the stories behind such a machine. Time seemed to stretch as the harvester continued its task, methodically stripping the asteroid of its minerals. Nokia's thoughts strayed to his family, back home on Hikmozur. The materials he hoped to collect would mean more than just a financial gain. They represented a chance for a better future. The thought kept him grounded, even as doubt began to gnaw at him. Finally, as Harvester finished and began to retract his limbs, Nokia's heart raced, and he powered up his ship, eager to seize the opportunity. He approached the site, carefully, his excitement tempered by a healthy dose of apprehension. The resources left behind were a sight to behold, gleaming metals and rare elements scattered across the asteroid's surface. Nokia's heart swelled with a brief sense of triumph as he began collecting them. It was a fleeting victory, but a victory nonetheless. Just as he was about to leave, the ship's alarms blared. Nokia's pulse quickened as he saw the silhouette of a sleek, angular vessel emerging from the darkness. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. He had underestimated the risks. A cold, unfeeling voice crackled through the ship's speakers. "Unidentified vessel. You have interfered with Terran operations. Surrender the collected materials or face immediate decommissioning." Nokia's hand shook as he scrambled to respond. The tales of Terran retribution were not just stories. They were a reality he was now facing. In a desperate attempt to mitigate the situation, he jettisoned the cargo, watching helplessly as the precious materials drifted away into the void. While the Terran vessel hovered nearby, an imposing presence that left no room for doubt about its capabilities, a precise beam shot out, disintegrating the floating resources into nothingness. The voice returned, even colder than before. "This encounter has been logged. Depart immediately." With that, the Terran ship turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving Nokia alone, shaken and empty-handed. As he maneuvered the Scavenger away from the asteroid, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of loss. The chance of fortune had slipped through his fingers, and he was left alone with the weight of his gamble. A reminder that in the vast emptiness of space, even the smallest miscalculation could have profound consequences. Nokia initiated the departure sequence, his heart heavy with defeat. As he left the asteroid field in quiet solitude behind him, the lesson was clear. Some risks are never worth taking.